So, it's not that I'm comparing homosexuality to alcoholism or murder or any other horrendous mutually agreed upon sin, but I am going to do it so that you see how my brain and the brains of my brethren are working here. Let's do the alcoholism, for instance. And in a way, I think that's a good comparison, because there are arguments that most people are born predisposed to alcoholism. Just like there are arguments that there are people born predisposed to homosexuality. And there's a lot of Christians that won't even get on camera or put on their blogs or voice an opinion in agreement with that. They would say, oh no, that's not how you were born. Well, I don't know for a fact if you were born that way or not. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt if you tell me you were born that way, that you were, okay? It doesn't kill the Christian perspective or argument, though, and here's why. If you're born with a propensity to have alcoholism, does society forgive you for drinking all the time, for driving around drunk, for endangering people's lives? Does it forgive you to the point that you have no repercussions to pay, that you can just have this free pass, get out of jail free card all the time? I was just born that way. No, it doesn't. Okay. Lost my train of thought because I just answered the phone. Society doesn't necessarily forgive you even if you're born an alcoholic. There are repercussions. You do need to still take care of your family and do all these other things. So, if you can bear with me in that example, it's the only way I know how to articulate my point such that whether you ever agree with me or not, that you could walk through this process and go, oh, that's why Jim feels that way about homosexuality, because his Bible is telling him that it is in opposition with God's will and desire, and he believes that thing so much that he actually sees that, even though I may or may not, he actually sees it as on the same level and on par with every other sin in the book. The only remaining question, and this is one that I wrestle with a lot, is why then is it such a big deal or hot button for Christians if indeed homosexuality is just equal with every other sin? Because we all admit, even on camera on YouTube, that we are all sinners. I guess the best explanation that I can come up with to explain that is it's an unrepented sin. There may be some homosexuals out there that know it's a sin and agree that it's a sin and repent of it. And if they do, great. Just like me, we're repentant, we believe in Jesus Christ, we're all going to be sharing heaven with one another. And I can't wait. However, I would say the mainstream point of view from a homosexual is that there's nothing wrong with it, and therefore there is no sin, and there's nothing to repent for. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I want to end on this. I can already tell I'm running long. I share this side of the fence with a lot of hateful, disrespectful people. On any issue, there's usually a fence, and there are people on one side of it and people on the other side of it. But unfortunately, on both sides of any issue, you cannot judge the entire sect of people on this side of the fence as one single acting globule, nor can you do it of the other side. It's almost impossible to individualize every single issue, but my hope here is that I'm at least putting out there a loving, right perspective on this. I'm not a homophobe. I'm not a hater. I'm not out to destroy anybody's personal rights. I'm not out to keep people from having health care. I'm just adhering to my beliefs. And I'm willing to take a stand even if it's inconvenient to my popularity. I love my God in heaven so much that my reputation, my money, my things, my life, my wife, my children, I give it all to Him. He can do with it as He wants. And I'm okay with that. It's taken a long time to get here. It was difficult the first time I did turn everything over to Him and truly say, it's yours. You know, if you want me to be homeless, then take these blessings from me. Nothing to me is more important. Now, do I love my wife? Yes, she is. In my priority list, there's God, and then there's my wife and children and my family and loved ones, and then somewhere down there is work. And I think that's the only way to prioritize your life. And so here I am, yet again, proposing the unpopular belief at the risk of not being liked or even possibly ridiculed. So I hope you take it for what it's worth. I don't know that it's going to help. I don't think it's going to change a whole lot of people's minds, but I hope that some respect is garnered from my stand. And I don't even need the respect for myself, but just for the Christian position. And don't get me wrong, there's a ton of Christians out there that I think are just very hateful about this issue, period. And they're not setting a good Christian example, period. And I don't support it at all. And I never will. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling at this point. There's a lot more I can say, especially I could tackle, but I'm not going to, the whole discrimination discussion that Chuck and I sort of got into, but I didn't. It was kind of a rabbit hole that I didn't intend for our discussion to go down anyway. So for now, this is The Edge, signing off.